Okay, this is sort of our presentation outline. So we're beginning with the evaluation of the Immigration to Official Language Minority Communities Initiative. So that's the part that I will be speaking to, and my colleagues Marie-Ève and Kathryn will be speaking to the RIFs and LIPs pieces of this presentation. So we wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the evaluation of the Official Language Minority Communities Initiative, given that the evaluation very much focused a lot on the immigration and integration outcomes for French-speaking immigrants in Francophone minority communities. So a big focus there in terms of our work and the evaluation. We did look a little bit at the English-speaking communities in Quebec, but they were considered more in relation to results for knowledge development and awareness activities. We also followed up on the recommendations from our 2012 evaluation, and the reporting period was about 2012 to 2016, though we did look at trends over time for 2003. But we wanted to take this opportunity here, given that the Liaison are here at this meeting, to give a little bit of sense of the findings from this evaluation as it relates to integration and settlement, and with respect to the Francophone minority communities and the RIFs. So I'm not going to go necessarily through all these findings, but I just wanted to highlight a few selected findings from the evaluation. The evaluation itself was quite comprehensive. We did various surveys and looked at administrative data and as well as did case studies of the RIFs, as well as Destination Canada and other promotional activities abroad. So wanted to look at, wanted to sort of focus a little bit on some of the different findings in relation to the immigration into of French-speaking immigrants into Francophone minority communities, as well as integration, settlement, and the RIFs and their contribution. So one of our big findings were, while the numbers of French-speaking immigrants settling in Francophone minority communities has increased in many of the years since 2003, their relative weight within the overall immigrant and economic immigration populations outside of Quebec has remained below our targets. So we have the target for economic immigration as well as overall immigration outside of Quebec. And we're still below those targets, although we have seen that the numbers have been increasing, especially in 2016. Characteristics of the French-speaking people that have been coming. We found a little over about 43,000 French-speaking immigrants during that time period between 2003 and 2016. And they were generally similar to the overall population in terms of their gender and age distribution. A greater percentage were destined to Toronto and Ottawa. And the source countries being France, Congo, Cameroon, and Morocco, some of the key big source countries. A little over half indicated a mother tongue of French, as well as Arabic was 9%, 7%, Creole. So what we did find, which was a bit surprising, was a greater percentage of the French-speaking immigrants that have come during this time period came under the refugee programs, compared to 11% from the overall population. So in terms of their integration, generally overall we found that French-speaking immigrants that are coming to Francophone minority communities are doing quite well, comparable to other immigrants in these communities. So we found that they were participating in the labor market at rates comparable to other immigrants. We found that they were participating in social community activities, feel a sense of belonging to their communities, the Francophone community in Canada, as well as we saw that they were using both of Canada's official languages. So, but while they value the importance and ability to use French and have access to services and resources in French, they are also using English to function and participate in Canadian society. So there are a few different findings there in relation to sort of where they were using English and French. We found generally that they were using more English in the public domains, and then most notably they were using French in their private domains with their family and their close friends. In terms of settlement services and French-speaking clients, we found that many French-speaking newcomers are accessing our IRCC-funded settlement services, primarily obtaining information and orientation services. And this is very comparable to other immigrants using our settlement services. Most of those accessing language training were doing so to learn English. Many French-speaking clients in Francophone minority communities are receiving settlement services that are addressing their needs. So we looked at this through the settlement survey, as well as we did a survey of French-speaking immigrants, as well as we have our administrative data that we looked at. So one of the big things that we looked at there was in terms of people requesting having their services in the official language of their choice, so requesting services in French, whether or not we were actually then providing those services in French or another language, not English, because a number of our services are provided in multiple languages. So what we found there that that a number of, we had, 72% of the French-speaking clients for whom an official language preference was French had been identified. They had their language needs met through on all of our services. And another, on top of that, 7% had 3/4 or more of their services, but not all provided in French or another language. So we found that the services that were being provided meeting their needs. We also looked at this, did the survey, and a lot of the people indicated that they weren't really having any difficulties or problems accessing our services when they needed. The evaluation also looked at services provided by Francophone or bilingual organizations. And when we say bilingual organizations here, we were referring to bilingual organizations in New Brunswick that are funded under the Official Language Minority Community Initiative. And we found a total of 39 Francophone or bilingual organizations delivering our services to French-speaking newcomers. And when we looked at whether people were receiving services from these Francophone organizations, we noted that 18% of the French-speaking clients had received all of their settlement services from these organizations, 32% had received a portion of their services, and 50% none of their services. When we looked at their first point of access to the services and whether or not it was in iCare, so we could only look at the services that were funded by IRCC, but as a first point of contact, we noted that 32% received services from a Francophone or bilingual service provider organization on their first service date recorded in our administrative databases. We also looked at the contribution of the Liaison and Immigration francophone, and we noted that this is an important part of the national strategy to strengthen Francophone minority communities. We looked, there were 14 RIFs covering all provinces, including the 3 RIFs in Ontario and territories except Nunavut, and then the umbrella organization in the Atlantic. And what we noted in the evaluation is that the RIFs have developed a wide range of partnerships among non-government and government stakeholders. They've raised awareness of Francophone immigration, as well as contributed to facilitated information sharing, and thereby contributing to the attraction, integration, and retention of French-speaking immigrants in Francophone minority communities. So what was noted in the case study was that RIFs provide a unique place for exchange, to discuss Francophone immigration issues that wouldn't otherwise necessarily happen. They have undertaken a variety of activities to identify the needs of immigrants, as well as awareness activities with different community stakeholders, such as employers and service providers. However, there was an indication of more research being needed more at the local level and more on a practical sort of kind of research to look at sort of regional needs and issues and to allow them to have a bit better to focus their communications and awareness activities. And while difficult to measure, findings did suggest that RIFs are contributing indirectly to the provision of appropriate services and help with the facilitation of coordination and collaboration among partners. And through this work and through the opportunities for information sharing generated by these activities, that they're making a contribution that way. So really a very facilitative role is what we had sort of noted in our evaluation. So in terms of recommendations, and certainly this is just the findings that we've highlighted here today are the ones that are more specific to the settlement and integration of French-speaking immigrants. We also looked at management. Sorry. Wait, let's see. We also looked at the management of the initiative, governance, and looking at promotional activities overseas and things like that as well. And based on sort of everything all together, had 3 main recommendations. And the first recommendation being that IRCC should review and revise their governance and accountability framework for supporting this initiative, and considering the roles and responsibilities as well as leadership, and identify a clear policy lead within the department. Our second recommendation was more around developing and implementing a unified and horizontal strategy for the initiative. And here is where we had, we've sort of highlighted a few considerations that we wanted them to take into consideration when developing this unified strategy. Reviewing and revising their activities in relation to Francophone immigration to more effectively support the achievement of the established targets. That was one piece that we wanted them to consider, as well as advancing the for and by Francophones approach for the department. And at this point, when we were doing the evaluation, the approach has not been well defined at that point, so we thought there was some room there to advance and further develop that approach. Develop an approach to support the temporary residents targeted by the initiative. So this was another piece that we had looked at in terms of temporary residents being targeted by the initiative, but not a lot of supports in place to help them when they come to Francophone minority communities. And IRCC, so then another piece, leveraging government and non-government and employment-related stakeholders. So again, looking at that to better leverage their capacity, given that there's a number of other stakeholders that are involved in sort of helping with the retention and integration of immigrants in these communities, and we thought that should be another focus in terms of this unified strategy. And our last recommendation really touched on sort of updating performance measurement, as well as trying to align it better with the more integrated unified strategy, and address a few issues with results monitoring and reporting challenges. So the evaluation was posted. So this will just give you a little bit of a flavor of what was in there, but the evaluation has been posted. It's on the IRCC website, and there's much more comprehensive findings available there. But certainly we wanted to give you a bit of context in terms of what the evaluation told us and how that may have then influenced how we're moving forward. And Marie-Ève will speak to that.
Merci. Donc, ma présentation sera en français. Je pense ici?
Oui,
OK. Donc, je commencerai en disant, bien, ça bouge en immigration francophone à IRCC. D'abord, ça bouge. Pourquoi on regarde l'évaluation? Je pense qu'il y a quand même beaucoup de choses positives qui sont ressorties de l'évaluation. Tout d'abord, lorsqu'on apprend que les immigrants d'expression française ont des résultats comparables aux autres immigrants et même parfois meilleurs, même pour le marché du travail. Là, donc, je trouve que c'est quand même des résultats intéressants. Par contre, on sait qu'on peut faire mieux encore, notamment pour mieux connecter les immigrants d'expression française aux ressources francophones ainsi qu'aux organisations francophones. Les données de Heather l'ont démontré, donc, et faire en sorte que dès le premier contact avec le Canada ou les services, les immigrants d'expression française savent qu'il y a une francophonie canadienne, qu'il y a des communautés, qu'il y a des ressources en français disponibles pour eux à l'extérieur du Québec. Donc, je me présente. Mon nom est Marie-Ève Filteau. Je travaille pour une petite équipe qui fait du développement de politique, d'intégration et d'établissement pour les communautés francophones en situation minoritaire. Donc, je vous dis que ça bouge. Je vais vous donner un peu de contexte pourquoi, depuis, je dirais, 2016-2017, là, pourquoi ça bouge. Et puis, je conclurai en vous parlant un peu des réflexions qui sont sous notre radar en ce moment au niveau des politiques et leur implication pour les réseaux en immigration francophone. Bon, bien, ça bouge. D'abord, oui, il y a un momentum. On a un ministre et un secrétaire parlementaire qui appuient l'immigration francophone. Il y a eu des tournées de consultation cet été sur les niveaux d'immigration, sur l'établissement, et ça a inclus beaucoup de discussions avec des intervenants francophones sur l'immigration francophone. Et bon, tout récemment, c'était la semaine dernière, je pense que c'était la Semaine nationale de l'immigration francophone. Il y a eu une bonne implication là, au niveau du ministre et du secrétaire parlementaire qui ont fait une campagne sur les médias sociaux. Donc, ça donne beaucoup de visibilité à cette question. Et puis, il y a aussi, je pense, c'est important de noter qu'en ce moment, on remarque un intérêt croissant des provinces et territoires sur cette question-là, un appui à la francophonie canadienne. Comme les RIF ont une portée provinciale pour plusieurs, et plusieurs comptent aussi des provinces comme observateurs au sein de leur réseau, je pense que c'est important de le faire remarquer. Donc, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé cette année, en mars? Bien, ça a été une première rencontre historique là, de ministres fédérales, provinciales, territoriales, de la francophonie, des affaires francophones ainsi que de l'immigration pour discuter d'immigration francophone et des enjeux tout au long du continuum de l'immigration. Ça s'est passé au Nouveau-Brunswick. Et de ce premier forum-là, il y a eu plusieurs engagements clés et déjà, ça bouge. Il y a des choses qui sont en branle. Il y a un plan d'action fédéral, provincial, territorial sur l'immigration francophone qui est en cours d'élaboration. Il y a un second forum ministériel qui est prévu en mars, ici à Toronto, co-dirigé par l'Ontario. Et ce sera suivi d'un symposium qui va inclure la communauté et ce sera prévu plus tard au printemps. Le Nouveau-Brunswick a signé, c'est l'année dernière, une annexe qui accompagnait l'accord du Nouveau-Brunswick avec IRCC sur l'immigration. C'est une annexe sur les immigrants d'expression française. Donc, l'Ontario a emboîté le pas et actuellement, ils sont en train de négocier une annexe spécifiquement pour pour avoir des zones de collaboration en immigration francophone. Donc, je pense que c'est des choses intéressantes à mentionner. Pour répondre directement aux constatations et recommandations qui ont été soulevées par l'évaluation dont vous a parlé Heather, il y a une nouvelle équipe qui est en place à IRCC, qui est un nouveau centre de politique en immigration francophone, dont un policy hub en immigration francophone, qui est situé sous Corinne Prince Saint-Amand en établissement, mais bien que ce soit sous l'établissement, c'est vraiment une équipe qui a un mandat horizontal et stratégique en immigration francophone. Et cette équipe-là est responsable notamment de définir une stratégie cohérente en immigration francophone. Et ça, c'est pour répondre à la recommandation numéro 2. Mais en plus de ça, c'est une équipe qui assure beaucoup de coordination au niveau des politiques pour que les mesures et politiques soient plus cohérentes. Notamment, cette équipe-là contribue à donner de l'intrant à Patrimoine canadien pour le futur plan sur les langues officielles qui devrait être présenté en 2018, donc 2018-2023, ainsi que pour contribuer aux engagements avec les provinces et territoires dont je vous ai parlé. Donc, avoir une équipe comme ça, avec un leadership ciblé, je pense que ça aide à faire bouger les choses aussi. Donc, c'est certain que nous, notre équipe en établissement, on appuie cette nouvelle équipe-là qui a un rôle plus horizontal et c'est certain qu'on doit les appuyer notamment par nos réflexions, notamment la place de l'établissement dans une future stratégie en immigration francophone. Et nos réflexions, bien, on les prend de où? On les prend des consultations, des conversations qu'on a avec les réseaux en immigration francophone, aussi des rapports significatifs qui ont été publiés par les comités de langue officielle, mais également à la lumière de l'évaluation qui a été menée. Et quand on regarde tout ça, évidemment, il y a deux choses qui tombent sous notre radar actuellement, et c'est le parcours d'intégration francophone et l'approche par et pour les francophones en établissement. Donc, le parcours d'intégration francophone, c'est comment faire en sorte, dès le début du processus d'immigration, que les immigrants d'expression française sont au courant, qu'ils peuvent faire un choix éclairé et se diriger vers des organisations francophones qui sont liées aux communautés francophones, qui connaissent toutes les ressources et les réalités de ces communautés-là. Donc, vraiment assurer une consolidation de ce parcours-là. Au niveau de l'approche par et pour francophone, bien, Heather l'a mentionné, c'est quelque chose qu'on doit mieux définir à l'intérieur du ministère. Donc, ce sont deux choses quand même assez importantes qui soulèvent beaucoup de questions. Je ne les mentionnerai pas toutes, mais je pense que plusieurs interpellent beaucoup les RIF, donc risquent d'influencer leur travail. Notamment, je pense, le point numéro 3, comment mieux outiller les petites régions en matière de services pour les immigrants. La semaine dernière, j'ai assisté à un forum organisé par les 3 réseaux en immigration francophone de l'Ontario. C'était vraiment super. Les 3 réseaux se mettent ensemble pour en arriver à développer une stratégie en régionalisation. Donc, encore un exemple où les RIF peuvent jouer un rôle important. Comment générer une meilleure complémentarité entre partenaires communautaires plutôt que la compétition pour les mêmes clients? C'est vraiment des petits volumes de clients, on le sait, pour les immigrants d'expression française. Donc, comment les RIF pourraient jouer un rôle à ce niveau-là? Dans le cadre d'une approche par et pour francophone, quel rôle pour les fournisseurs non francophones et les fournisseurs bilingues? Comment rendre le financement en établissement plus flexible? On a vu, les questions de financement sont ressorties ce matin. Donc, comment rendre le financement plus flexible pour mieux soutenir des initiatives communautaires et même des initiatives communautaires partenariales qui viendraient, par exemple, à la suite de consultations, d'un travail de concertation que font les RIF. Donc, ce sont quelques questions, le parcours d'intégration francophone, l'approche par et pour francophone, mais aussi les réseaux occupent évidemment nos réflexions. Donc, il y a beaucoup de choses qui s'en viennent, comme vous pouvez le constater, mais ça fait presque 10 ans maintenant que les réseaux existent. Et dans un contexte où l'immigration francophone a beaucoup évolué puis gagne en importance, comment IRCC pourrait... Ah, j'ai oublié, pardon. Merci. Ouais, voilà mes questions. Donc, dans un contexte où l'immigration gagne en importance, comment IRCC pourrait mieux appuyer et tirer profit de la contribution des RIF, contribution qui a très bien été soulignée par Heather, aux objectifs de l'immigration francophone? Est-ce qu'on va vraiment chercher le potentiel que peuvent nous offrir les réseaux en immigration francophone sur le terrain? On est curieux de savoir aussi, au niveau des plans stratégiques qui sont élaborés par les RIF, comment est-ce que ces plans-là pourraient mieux informer les priorités d'IRCC? Donc, c'est des questions qu'on a en ce moment. Et pour la suite des choses, les next steps, je vous l'ai dit, stratégie en immigration francophone, il y aura des consultations à venir auprès des réseaux en immigration francophone, ce sera plus tôt que tard. Il y a une étude aussi qui va s'en venir sur les réseaux en immigration francophone. On veut aller un petit peu plus loin que l'évaluation. L'évaluation, c'est un bon point de départ, mais qu'est-ce qui fonctionne bien avec les RIF puis qu'on pourrait dupliquer, mais qu'est-ce qui fonctionne moins bien? On veut comprendre. On sait qu'il y a des défis. Ça a été souligné par l'évaluation. Donc, d'où viennent ces défis-là et comment on pourrait mieux y répondre dans l'avenir? Explorer de nouvelles thématiques, je vous annonce, c'est pour les réseaux qui sont ici. On a mis en place l'année dernière, sous le leadership de Corinne Prince, notre DG, un forum d'échange sur le parcours d'intégration francophone. Ça se veut vraiment un petit groupe ad hoc. Il y a les coordonnateurs qui y participent, il y a certains fournisseurs de services directs, il y a des provinces et territoires qui y sont représentés, les affaires francophones de l'Ontario, le Massy, le Nouveau-Brunswick. On a des gens de d'autres ministères fédéraux qui sont à l'écoute aussi, qui participent à ce forum-là. On fait des téléconférences pour aborder des thématiques qui nous permettraient d'améliorer ce parcours-là d'intégration. On a eu, par exemple, une conversation sur le pré-départ, une conversation sur la justice, les services en justice pour les immigrants. Donc, je vous annonce qu'on va poursuivre là, ce forum-là dès janvier. Et puis, bien, soyez à l'affût. Le futur plan s'en vient sur les langues officielles. On espère qu'il y aura des bonnes choses en immigration francophone. Je pense que c'est positif jusqu'à maintenant, on l'espère. Il y a un plan d'action qui s'en vient, évidemment, et simplement vous dire qu'on regarde de près tout ce qui se passe au niveau des collectivités accueillantes, les discussions comme aujourd'hui, mais il s'en est passé beaucoup au niveau des réseaux en immigration francophone aussi. On pense que ce concept-là est intéressant pour soutenir la vitalité des communautés francophones, mais également pour assurer le succès des immigrants francophones. Donc, je vous remercie.
Alors, merci. On vient d'entendre un peu au sujet du politique pour les RIF et pour l'immigration francophone. Alors, merci à Marie-Ève pour nous donner les détails sur ça, puis à Heather pour nous donner le contexte de l'évaluation. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about LIP policy work. My name's Kathryn Doiron. I will also work with Marie-Ève at the Settlement Integration Branch at IRCC. I do the local immigration partnership policy work. And those of you that were at P2P last year will recall that David Kerr, first Director of Evaluation, came and presented the preliminary findings from the Settlement Program Evaluation LIP case study. That evaluation will be publicly available soon, I think early in the new year, and that will be posted on IRCC's website. But in sum, the evaluation of the LIPs showed that it was very positive findings. The LIPs are successful at conducting the community-based research, at identifying settlement needs and gaps, sharing information, developing community strategies, etc. And the one finding that I really liked is that there's a clear and continuing need for cross-sectoral partnership work, and that LIPs are very effective at meeting this need. So that was wonderful finding for us. In terms of findings that are going to lead to future policy work, the evaluation points to areas such as performance measurement, and also action plan implementation, and linked to that, leveraging resources. I think that these two areas of future focus won't surprise anybody in this room. I think that we can all agree that they're areas that are worth all of us exploring a bit more, like what more can we do on that front. So let's talk about that. What is next for LIPs policy? With the evaluation, the evaluation findings, it's a natural move once we have evaluation findings to move into a policy review process, and that's really just kind of, we get to navel gaze a bit and really see where do we want to go from here. I'll be also drawing from your annual reports that you fill out and submit to us. And I also want to have an engagement, some engagement work so that I can actually speak with my settlement network colleagues that work with you, and also with LIPs themselves, so that I can learn what are your views, what are your thoughts on some areas that we could improve on. Regarding the annual reports you provide, there's a lot of really valuable information in there, and I thank all of you for taking the time and energy to fill those out every year for us. But my question is there a way to simplify the reporting? Perhaps we can identify some key performance indicators and focus on these. Or maybe we can reduce the open-ended questions. There's a lot, that we're asking of you. So maybe I think it's time for us to kind of look at that and really narrow in on what we want to be putting forward in terms of your outcomes and impacts.
Ça s'applique au réseau aussi.
I'm also interested in looking at what we can do to better support your action plan implementation and your ability to leverage additional resources to support this implementation. I don't have the answers for this right now, but that's something I want to engage on. For example, I recently attended a regional LIP meeting down in Southern Ontario in Windsor, and I put that question to the table. And I received some feedback from the LIPs there. They talked about, flexible funding could be really helpful for us. We're kind of tied with what we can do with the money with the limited resources that we have. And also, maybe IRCC could better connect us with funding, other sources of funding. How can we support you better there? Those some just a couple of ideas, and I'm sure there's some other ones that you have other ideas to share as well. All right. Another theme that I want to pursue is how can IRCC and LIPs, how can we strengthen our relationship? How can we strengthen how we work together? A lot of LIPs now already support IRCC work through disseminating information on express entry by facilitating or by being involved in hosting citizenship ceremonies. And of course, during the Syria Refugee Resettlement Initiative, so many of you came forward and played a leadership role in terms of coordination, information sharing, bringing all the players together so that we could have a joint action in a quick fashion. But this slide here, I want to put the focus maybe more on how IRCC can better support you. You do a lot for us and for newcomers and your communities, but maybe IRCC should be looking more at what more we can do for you. One idea is to what supports can we do for your own research? We hold on to a lot of data. We do a lot of research and analytics on that. Is stuff that we can be sharing with you to support your local research efforts? Are there other ways for IRCC to become, what I like to say, a more active partner by increasing our participation in the LIP work on the ground? For example, I've participated in teleconference calls with the Western LIPs. They kind of were organizing themselves, and I could dial in and participate and could ask questions. I learned so much, and I got tasked as well with work to bring back to that table. So that worked really well, and I'm interested in seeing maybe if more can be done there, so we can kind of, that headquarters can better support LIPs and maybe even settlement network. The last item I have on this slide is about, what more can we do with sharing our success stories. We all know LIPs and RIFs. You do a lot of innovative work. I think it's because you are able to bring all of the different sectors to the table and kind of work, problem solve together and figure out what's going to work for your community. You're going beyond what the federal settlement program can do in terms of our mandate. You can start addressing access to health care, housing needs, and then maybe even some justice issues, safety and security, and fostering community connections, working with municipalities on local integration strategies, and even keeping in touch with employers and with their perspectives and views and what challenges they're seeing. So I think that this type of work needs to be shared and promoted both within IRCC, because I find, Marie-Ève would agree, it's a small part of our overall program, but I think that the impact of your work is quite huge, and I don't think it gets a lot of press internally, so that would be, my job. But also, what more can we do, like bringing your projects to different conferences, getting it seen by a wider audience, and trying to help make those connections. So, okay. My last item that I wanted to address is I want to announce that the Ontario Council of Agencies Serving Immigrants, known as OCASI, will be developing a national online community of practice. The LIPs have told us that they would really benefit from being able to connect with each other, from across the country on a regular basis. This event is wonderful. I mean, it's a chance for everyone to get together face to face and learn, exchange business cards and emails and all of that stuff. And it happens once a year. So how can we kind of keep it going, keep the conversations going, keep the connections going? The National Community of Practice will be an online space where everyone that's involved in settlement and integration can connect with each other. They'll be able to share best practices, share information. It may provide an opportunity to collaborate and bring about new partnerships, and will also offer learning materials to help everyone kind of keep up to date with the latest thinking in terms of serving clients and other areas. So over the next year, I'm sure OCASI will kind of get the word out a bit more, and we'll start learning more about the Community of Practice project and when it will be implemented, how it's going to work and everything. But I really encourage LIPs and RIFs to participate in the upcoming Community of Practice. I hope that it'll be a useful tool for you that provide that extra peer support that you're looking for as we all strive to help newcomers integrate into our local communities and support welcoming community development. Thank you very much.